Hello, vinyl community. Wanted to come on today to do my vinyl tag for 2023. This vinyl tag was put together by Rob Walker, and I've been kind of promising to do this for a while now. So I thought I'd take a few minutes today and put this together real quick. So I know I'm later than most people. Almost everybody's already got their vinyl tags put out there. So maybe you won't be so tired of watching them now. So here we go. Question number one was your favorite new release of 2022. I didn't get a lot of new releases this particular year for some reason, but as much as there were plenty of them out there that I would like to have had. So I'd have to say my favorite new release for the year was this one by My Morning Jacket. This is their self-titled album, even though they've got several albums out before this one. But this one was released this past year, and just an excellent album. It's good to hear them returning to their, not necessarily to their roots, but back to when their music made a lot more sense, I think. Great album, really like this one, and I would have to say it's my favorite from everything that I bought. Question number two is the last band or solo artist you saw live. Well, again, My Morning Jacket was the last band I saw live. This is their album Circuital, and another great album from them. But they were on a double bill with another favorite of mine that same night, and that was Band of Horses. This is the album Cease to Begin. Love this album. I love everything by Band of Horses that I've heard, and another great concert also. Question number three, a band where the first album they made was their best. I was thinking of several that I could use for this, but I thought I'd use one that nobody will ever do because I never see this band shown. It's actually a project from Steven Wilson, Base Communion. This is his first album under that project name. He's released several since then. And this is very experimental music where he uses different sounds and manipulates them in different ways. This one is probably more musical than most of the others, but there are still some interesting experiments, some nice drones, some nice use of looping technique. It's all electronic, and it's all by Steven Wilson from Porcupine Tree. That's their best album, Base Communion number one. Number four is show a hat trick. That is to show an album where you have the vinyl copy, a CD copy, and a cassette copy. Unfortunately, I got rid of all my cassettes. I don't collect cassettes anymore. But there are plenty of them that I have vinyl copies and CD copies of both, especially King Crimson, of course. I've got all of their albums in both vinyl and CD, but unfortunately, well, all their studio albums, but unfortunately, I don't have anything on cassette, so I can't show that one. Question number five, show an album with the band name or a title that begins and ends with the same letter, and that would be Emotive by A Perfect Circle. This is a great album. I've shown it before, but really love this album. It's full of different covers by the band A Perfect Circle. Of course, the lead singer comes from the band Tool, but this is a different sound than what any of the Tool records have. You get a lot of different great covers on this, like the cover of Imagine, which is just wonderful. Really different. In fact, all the covers in here are really different from the originals, and they're all really done well. What's So Funny About Peace, Love, and Understanding is another standout on this. Of course, that's the Elvis Costello song. Just great stuff on here. Highly recommended. Emotive. Number 6, show someone born in the same year that I was, which was 1961. And that would be Martin Gore from Depeche Mode. This is the album People Are People. And of course, great album, quite well known in the vinyl community. Well-loved album from the band. What is your most listened to album in 2020? That is question number 7. And I would have to go with this box set. Kate Bush's Remastered in Vinyl number 4. This has 2 albums of B-sides, some 12-inch mixes, and different covers. There are 4 records in this set. Just beautiful artwork throughout the entire set. And songs that you don't find on any of her albums unless they're bonus tracks or whatever. A lot of these are B-sides. I love Kate Bush anyway, and this is one that I've listened to a lot to get to know her music that isn't quite so published as others. I hope that made sense anyway. Number 8 is the most listened to artist that you've listened to in 2022. And with all the additions I've made of this artist, it stands to reason that he's the most listened to, and that would be Bob Dylan. This is his live album at Budokan, and I've been lucky to find a lot of his music on vinyl, so I've reestablished all of my Bob Dylan collection for the most part. There's still a few that I'm missing. And I've also added a few, including this one at Budokan. Great live album. Number 9, show an Australian artist. I could have shown, all the usual Men at Work, Midnight Oil, all of those that everybody knows. I thought I would show this one, and it's actually in a CD that I found just the other day. Jet. I love their first album, and I had not heard this one before. This one's called Shaka Rock, and I found this for $1.50, and it's unopened. So looking forward to being able to take time to listen to that a little more. But highly recommend the album Get Born by Jet. Australian band, great heavy rock style alternative, but also heavy at the same time. Highly recommend them, especially if you're fans of, I guess AC/DC in a way. Not exactly right, but you know what I mean. Number 10, a record people would be surprised that you bought. I bought this record brand new, and I don't know why I bought it at the time, but I'm glad I did because it sounds just awesome. But I've been a big fan of Merle Haggard. I usually stay away from country except for a few select artists. Merle Haggard is one of them. This is a reissue of Mama Tried that was reissued a couple years back. And just an amazing sound of this. I mean, I absolutely love this album. The reissue just sounds so clear and distinct. You'd think it was recorded yesterday. So, Merle Haggard, Mama Tried. Number 11, an artist and band you are complete on. I think most everybody knows, and it's probably no surprise that I'm complete on all the studio albums by King Crimson on vinyl. The last one I got was just this past year, and that was their last proper album called The Power to Believe. Now, a lot of people may say that they did another album after this called A Scarcity of Miracles, but that album is actually a project album, which, that's my next goal, is to try to get all the rest of the King Crimson project albums. I know many of them are not available on vinyl, so they'll have to be CDs. But I do have A Scarcity of Miracles, on CD right here. I don't have it on vinyl. Of course, it's quite different sounding than most King Crimson albums. It's even different sounding than a lot of the Project albums, but it was considered a Projects album. So, don't have that on vinyl, but it's still, that question still applies to having all of the studio albums that King Crimson put out on vinyl. Number 12, a great run of 3 albums. I would have to go with one of my favorite post-rock bands, and that would be Godspeed You Black Emperor, their debut album, which is just amazing. There's the title of it, F sharp, A sharp, Infinity is the name of it, and just great stuff. I mean, I absolutely love this album. Highly recommend it if you want to get into some good post-rock. This is the band that I think made post-rock what it is nowadays, and this album is just absolutely gorgeous. Second, they put out an EP, which is this one. I want to get the title of it right because it's a really different title. Slow Riot for New Zero Canada. Canada spelled with a K. And there are 2 tracks on this, both very long tracks. Just amazing EP. Always shows up on the website Rate Your Music as the best EP ever. And I think I would back that up. And then their third album is this one called, can never remember the full title because it's a long title, so we will try to get this right. Lift Your Skinny Fists Like Antennas to Heaven is the name of this, and really interesting artwork that goes along with this. This is a great double album. There's 2 discs to that, and it's just full of just amazing post-rock experimental music. And if you look at this centerpiece here, the records are split up with 1 track per side. They're very long tracks, but each track is split up into kind of like a suite, and this is a diagram showing how each track is split up. Kind of interesting to listen to the records and follow that diagram at the same time. The music makes a lot more sense. And those 3 albums were they just hit it out of the park, and I've followed their career ever since that. Number 13, one of your favorite 80s soundtracks. I don't have a lot of 80s soundtracks. I would have to say one of my favorites is Fast Time at Ridgemont High, which I used to have and I don't have now. Love that soundtrack with the variety that it has on it. But out of the soundtracks I have, I would have to go with this country soundtrack. Just beautiful music here. It's all done by various Windham Hill artists, acting as an ensemble for the most part. And not an easy album to find, but just beautiful music. Really fits the mood. You feel like you're out in the country in the middle of a storm, or out working under the sun. It's just great stuff, and all instrumental, but really great. Number 14, show an artist that we lost in 2022. For me, that would be one of the hardest artists that we lost, I think, for me, was Vangelis. I've got a lot of albums by Vangelis, and I plan to eventually, somewhere down the road, do a special video about Vangelis, but this one is China. Love his music. Great. He's got some great soundtracks and great regular albums. This is, I think, one of his best. It's called China. It's inspired by a lot of Chinese music. but doesn't have it doesn't exactly have what you would expect it to sound like, though you can hear the inspiration behind the Chinese influence on this album. Number 15, most disappointing purchase in 2022. That's kind of a tough one for me, but I guess I would have to go with this one that I was really excited to find. Van Halen 2. I found it at a thrift store for a really good price. Looked like it was in really good shape. I took the record out, looked really nice. But then I got it home and put it on my turntable, and you can see, and it was even worse than that. I've tried flattening it out. You can see it's bowed quite badly. I think I need to put it under something heavy and let it sit there for a couple of months. Maybe I'll be able to iron it out, because it has gotten better from what it was, but it's still not playable. So that was very much a disappointment, unfortunately. Number 16, show a non-vinyl purchase. I always pick up a lot of knickknacks and things to have around to kind of change out my desk and different things around the room here. And I'm a big fan of Charlie Brown, and I want to show this little thing that I found. It winds up, though it's not a music box. It's really cool. See, their heads move back and forth. Schroeder's there playing the organ. And up on top there, oops, you can see Woodstock coming in and out of the pipes on the top. Kind of hard to see him there, but love that. Anyway, number 17, you found a Grell. Show a Grell that you found. Not too long ago, I showed the Love record that I've been searching for forever, in great shape. But I think I'll go with the one from a while ago. You remember I found Porcupine Tree's Dead Wing, my favorite Porcupine Tree album. I love Porcupine Tree. I love Steven Wilson and all of his music and all the different projects I've followed pretty much through the years. Most of it I have digitally, but I've been slowly trying to get all the Porcupine Tree albums I can. And this one being one of my favorites, I was really happy to find for a good price, because I thought they'd pretty much were unavailable by the time I picked it up. Number 18, show an album with a spaced theme album sleeve. That would be Ozric Tentacles, the space rock band. This one is called Strangitude. Really cool album. If you don't know what space rock is, if you know Hawkwind, then you kind of have an idea of what it is. But Ozric Tentacles is more of an updated sound. There it is on beautiful yellow vinyl. Just great music. Highly recommend. If you haven't heard of Ozric Tentacles and you like the psychedelic space rock sound, you may want to check them out. And number 19, show some VCLT or a present. Of course, I have to show the one sent to me by Mark at Mad for Vinyl. I could not believe this when I opened it up, but the Mo-Fi version of The Times They Are A-Changing by Bob Dylan. So just like speechless when I seen this in the package. And of course I've played it a lot. It just sounds so crystal clear and just beautiful. Just an amazing recording of an iconic album. So thank you, Mark, from Mad for Vinyl, once again. The Times They Are A-Changin' by Bob Dylan. Go check out Mark's channel, by the way, if you haven't already. Just a great channel. He's a great host. I love watching his videos and feeling all the insight that he gives on it. He loves his 7-inch singles, and I love watching I usually don't collect a lot of 7-inch singles, but I love watching to see what he's collected, and a lot of R&B. He loves that sound. Just great channel. Okay, last of all, question number 20. An album released in 1973. I wanted to show something I haven't seen on on any of the vinyl tags that I've watched, and this particular album means a lot to me. So, as it was the second album by this artist that I picked up, The Joker by the Steve Miller Band. This was made before he hit the big time with Fly Like an Eagle. Fly Like an Eagle, of course, was the first album I picked up by Steve Miller. I picked up this one next and was just blown away with some of the guitar work on this. Is quite amazing. If you haven't heard the song Shubada Do Mama Mama, listen to the guitars, the instrumental section and the guitar solo especially on that. Is just like, it will blow you away. It's awesome. Also, there's a live version of the blues song Evil where he does another great guitar solo. If you don't believe Steve Miller's a great guitarist, then you need to pick this up and listen to those 2 tracks especially. Okay, that's it. Of course, I went over 20 minutes. I was hoping I could get it under that, but I like to talk about some of my favorite albums a little too much sometimes, I think. So thank you for putting up with that. Thank you for watching, and we will talk to you all later.